Hello, Jess.
Hi, Jason. Oh, look at everybody talking about
Ha-
their parents.
Happy Friday. I hope you're well. August 15th, episode number 278 of the Now of Work digital meetup. Great to have everyone here. Hey, we started with a little song there. You like that band, right?
I did. I'm still a little grouchy with him.
Grouchy with him.
Actually, I've heard his I think it's a biography, his autobiography, if that doesn't raise the roof. I've heard his book is really, really good, and I'd love to read it. He's a fantastic storyteller, including during live shows. But ironically, with that song, I kind of wish Grohl could still be a hero. I kind of was hoping not every rock star had to have a love child with another woman. Like he could have skipped that part and still been like my beloved Dave Grohl. But anyway, I digress.
Well, I played that song for the hero part of it, not for the other part
You
of
know
it.
how they say, don't careful meeting your heroes? That was me with Grohl.
So I wanted to hear some other heroes. Like Jen said her mom. Um, Kristen said her dad. We didn't get many heroes.
No, people are
Like
slow with the
people are a little
heroes.
quiet. Hello.
Maybe because I backed
Hello.
Grohl. Let's go, guys. I love Foo Fighters. You know why I thought maybe you played that song, Jason?
What?
The
Brad,
question.
the question is name your hero. Name your hero. Just name your hero. Just one hero in your
Hero.
life. You probably have
Yes.
many, but name your hero. Just type it in. My
Oh,
dad,
my
John.
dad.
I love that. My
My
husband, Ron.
dad.
Happy anniversary, John. My best friend, Liz. Parents, my wife, my son. Good answers.
Good.
I like them. What were you going to say? I'm sorry. Gandhi. Beautiful.
Wow. Oh, my best friend. Um,
Oh, us too.
you guys too. Wasn't it a year ago, Jason? We were at the Foo Fighters concert together, meaning at the same time with other people. Like that was a year ago. That was last August.
Yeah, that's not why I played the song, though.
You just like the song. It is a good
No,
song.
that's not. No, it's not why I played the song either.
Okay. Okay.
One more guess.
Uh, I don't know.
You, my friend, are my
What?
hero. You are
Oh,
my hero for being on my podcast, for being my first guest
oh,
on my inaugural podcast. That's why I played the song. You
oh
are my hero.
my gosh. Well, now I forget all my previous rants. Thank you.
No, it's okay. You can still not like the band, but that
I
just the
love, I love Foo. Oh, July 28th, Sharon. Yes, we have a picture
Aaron was there with
together, all
us.
of us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
more than a year
So
ago.
yeah, so I thought Hero was good.
Hero is good, and congratulations from all of us. I'm sure I can say from all of us on launching something new. You're no stranger to launching something new, including companies and idea, but it's a lot of work because it takes not just the idea to do it, but it takes energy, time I'm sure you don't have. It takes kind of like heart for the mission. And so I'm really glad you're doing it, and I'm really glad about the reasons you're doing it.
Oh, and Jess, I have to say that I mean, we've only dropped one episode, which was you.
I know
But
you've got more in the
the
can.
number of interviews I've had and the number of great conversations I've had have just filled me. Like they've filled my heart like my heart hasn't been filled for a long, long time.
Oh,
So it's I can't wait. I can't wait. Like I want I'd love to just drop them all like a binge watch thing, but
mhm.
we'll do them slowly. But it's just amazing to talk to so many people that are doing amazing things. And they're all just amazing humans. So I can't wait. But anyway, thank you for being on. Now,
Yeah.
enough of that. Everyone, how are you? Green, yellow, red. Green, you're great. Yellow, so. Red, not so good. We always start with this question. Most important question I think you can ask someone. How are you? Kristen Green. Leah, I hope it's not because I'm not answering my Teams chats. Yellowish, green, yellow, green, green. Oh, we've got a lot of greens. I like the greens.
Good.
Hey,
That's good.
Michelle. Nice to see you. Tara's here. John's here. Awesome. It's a good group.
This is a good group today.
Oh, Anita's orange.
Ooh,
I do like orange, Anita, but not for this purpose. Uh, Jess Daly's here. Oh, we have a great group.
wow, this will be fun.
This is a great group. Jess, how are you?
I'm good. I always do that.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
supposed to
you're
say
wearing
hello.
yellow.
I know I'm wearing yellow. I know I'm good. I'm green because I have energy this week. I'm back. I have a voice.
Does
I'm
that have anything to do with your children being on the other end of the world, or
yeah.
is there any relation?
So I have to say that's the yellow part. Because I'm in like professional moping mode. Just mope
Professional
around.
moping.
Yes. Missing my kids. Yes, it's like breathing with like 70% oxygen. I don't know. Somebody told me, "Oh my God, lean into it. Self-care, self-care." I'm like, "Yes, I know how to do self-care." But I still miss them. But they're having an incredible, like truly like a once in a lifetime trip halfway across the world. And as a parent, you know, nothing can make you happier than your kids experiencing something incredible like that. So, but I'm,
I loved your post about that.
yeah,
Um, I loved your post about that.
yeah, thank you. How about you, Jason?
I think I'm green. Um, yeah, it's been a good week. I've not traveled this week, but I have been really busy this week. I start teaching my class next week
Yeah.
down in Charleston, which is going to be, I've been working on lesson plans in my spare time, which has been a ton of fun. Um, the class next week's gonna be really, really cool. I can't wait to get some students on here once in a while, and get them engaged. What else?
And when you say on here, you might mean in the audience. I have been dying to do a Gen Z panel on here.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Let's
I mean
do
that
it.
yeah, I mean that they're taking entrepreneurship, they're gonna be awesome. So, I don't know that, but they should be good. So,
Yeah.
but we'll definitely arrange that for one. I'm excited you're gonna come down for a class,
Yes.
which is great. I have my son Ben, who's 20. That a lot some of you know goes to school in Malaysia. He's been home now for a month, and he's leaving on Sunday. So that drops it a little bit out of the green to the yellow. But just the fact he's having an amazing time and doing amazing things in Malaysia is really, really cool to me. In Singapore slash Malaysia, where he's at, they have the Token 2049 crypto conference coming up. They have Formula One race coming up that he's
Oh
part
gosh.
of. So yeah, he's gonna be living a good life in September in Singapore.
Wow.
My 17-year-old starts football, which is scaring me to death. But he's having a great time. So yeah, overall I'm great. We finally put my mom's house after 56 years on the market
What?
officially.
Oh
Same
gosh.
house I was born in. So yeah, lots of stuff going on, but those are all big changes.
Yeah, those are big changes. Wow.
Big, John, big, big, big is exactly right. But why not? Home
Home.
birth. I didn't mean born in, Brad. I
Oh,
came home
Brad.
to. I came home to. Let's talk about one big thing. Our next segment here. What's one, Kylie? What's one home birth? Do people still do home
Yeah.
birth?
Oh yeah. I know people.
I probably shouldn't even go there. That's gonna. it's sometimes I don't even know why I walk into the shit I
Home
walk into.
birth, water birth, assisted. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's not me. So sorry I went there.
Yes.
Midwifery,
Big
home
stuff.
birth, all
Jack of
big
it
stuff.
all.
Wow, I got more people. We got more people talking about home birth than we got talking about their heroes. Weirdly enough,
Yeah.
never know what
Keep
sparks
going.
people. So let's talk about one big thing. And I would love it if all of y'all would put one big thing in the chat, one big thing that you did, one big thing that you did in the past week, one big thing that you're looking forward to coming up this week. Um, Once again, we're not keeping score. We're not tracking your badges as to who's responding, et cetera, et cetera. But would love to hear. And this is more of a moment of reflection for us to think to ourselves, like, what's one big thing that we accomplished that we felt good about? Home, personal, human life, giving birth at home, et cetera, et cetera. Leah, hopefully booking my wedding venue next week. Like every single day, I look for the invite in the mailbox. Mailbox. Do you like how I said that?
She needs
And
a venue before she can
there's
leave.
never an invite. So I'm like, maybe I'm not getting an invite. But anyway, Brad released our self-awareness micro course with strengths and flow and reflection into beta test feedback mode. Wow, it's a lot. Good. Excited for my first trip to Chicago for my grandson's first birthday.
Aw.
Awesome. Lauren's Dog Days of Summers coming up on 8/21. Nice. That's just next week, right? Bring
Mm-hmm.
your pup. Felt a little of imposter syndrome go away when I was interviewed as a subject matter expert. I love that, Katie. Katie, we're going to talk about this in a few minutes before our guest comes on about um, interest and things like that.
Yes.
Subject matter experts have not worked past 5:15 in the past 2 weeks. Husband's celebrating my husband's 97th birthday. Is that what that says?
There's a bit of an age difference. Laurel, I had
Yeah,
no
me either. Holy cow! I thought I was a typo.
idea.
I thought I was not. I was. Wow, that's amazing. Congratulations, Laurel. Uh, E to E testing this week and are green to go live. Congrats, Michelle. Son's 17th birthday today and taking him to senior sunrise at school. Very cool. Oh,
Wow.
we got some good ones.
Senior sunrise. Wow. And
Or
that's a
uh,
thing.
there's some people on here, like 100 that I see have not put in anything yet, but that's okay. Hopefully they're inward reflecting. First family vacation with my fiance's family.
Ooh, wow. I
That
hope it went
is
well.
something.
It sounds like it was a good week, so that went well.
Well, we don't know. Oh, it says great week. I was saying we don't
Great
know if it
week
was
being
good or not.
disconnected, but hopefully vacationing with a bigger group of people is tough.
Oh my God, I wish
Even
I
if
could.
you
I
love them.
sometime a longer when we have more time, I'll tell you about my first family vacation with my ex-fiance's family. It was not good.
Not good.
Not good. But we're not going to go there right now. Vow renewal.
Oh, cool.
Wow. And we met Sharon and her husband. That's going to be like a wild ass event. Wild event.
That's
Uh
true.
so for week 4 of my strength training. Whew,
On the home.
and sneak previews of research. Started working with an amazing organization that creates comic book for kids with disabilities. I
Oh,
love that.
I love that.
These are all good.
I love this.
Jessica's one big thing is she got caught up in another call with her CHRO.
Is
I'm just
that
kidding. That probably wasn't her one
I
big
want a
thing.
red, yellow, green on that call.
Turned 67. And now, thanks to Laurel, I feel really young.
Yeah.
Congrats, Lynn. Happy birthday. Um, tall tail end of
Tail
poison
end of
ivy
poison
on my
ivy.
hands. Wow, all kinds of stuff. Jess,
Mm.
what about you?
My one big
Look at
thing.
all these things. These are awesome. I want to read them all, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, kind of like recording our podcast, Jason, was one big thing because I know people hear from us all the time and we're no stranger to being on camera and stuff like that. But it was a different conversation for us, I think. And for me, and I was thoughtful about it. I wanted to offer something different than the usual fare. And the benefit of recording longer is that you get to go places that you don't normally have time for. So that was a treat. I also, strangely, I had a friend reach out this week and say, I met you 10 years ago. Like it's a 10-year anniversary. I was like, how is that possible? And that realization, like putting like the math on that made me realize this year is my like 10th year. This is the 10-year anniversary of the beginning of my divorce process, meaning it was
Oh,
just me and the girls 10 years ago. Uh, so they were like babies. They were so little. And I think about, and the fact that they're gone this week is also interesting because when they were little and I had to get used to single parenting and having long stretches of time without them, it was so hard. Like I can't even that why do you think I started running for hours and hours and like destination race? Like I had to do something with my mind and my time and I used to it's so funny to me, like such a small thing. I used to like turn off all of the night lights and the little lamps in their bedrooms, even close their doors. I used to shove all of their toys out of sight because it was too hard for me to look at reminders of them when they weren't there. So I would sort of like sanitize the house a little bit. I don't want to step on Legos and pick up Barbies and remember that they weren't there. Now, 10 years later, it is so different. Now, I feel like I'm preparing for their return more than I'm missing the fact that they're gone. And so for everybody who can relate, I know I'm every time I open my mouth, I'm never alone. For everyone who can relate to that kind of growth and embarking on personal journeys and how much things change. I can't believe it's been 10 years. I'm not a good one at like remembering milestones like that. 10 years ago, my kids were just babies and we went it alone and look at us now. So that was kind of
that's
cool.
awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That is a big thing. Um, Positive change for you, Jess. Thank you for saying that, Heidi.
Yeah.
I love all the one big things. You know, my big thing's not going to be anywhere near as big as yours this time, but I got a great note, and I just want to read it um, because, like, it's one of those things, and it's going to go into our next topic of conversation, Jess, around social media, which was one of the most, I'd say, interesting things about the podcast that we recorded. And crazy enough, like 2,500 people have listened to that podcast in 24
Oh my
hours,
God.
which is amazing. So it's really, really cool. But I got this note last night that said, I'm not going to say who it's from, for privacy's sake, and I didn't ask for permission. But I was preparing to deliver a presentation for our HR team, and the title I landed on was Change Happens. Let's lead it before it leads us.
I like
Just as I was wrapping up my talk, your now to next email with the title Lead the Change or Be Left Behind showed up in my inbox. I was bowled over. I decided not to scrap my original presentation, but ended with an invitation to attend part two, which I will base on your principles. You are among the few handful of must read, listen to influencers. Thank you for challenging and helping us. And then he signed his name. But I just have to say, I was like, oh my God, like when I get an email like that, it encourages me. It encourages me just to keep going, I guess is the best way to say it, and to keep bringing ideas forward, even though they may not be most popular at some times. And that gets me into what I wanted to talk about next before we bring on our guest, which is this discussion about social media.
it.
So one of the things that rings in my head about the podcast that you and I did was you said, I'm not really, how do I say, I have a love-hate relationship with social media.
Yeah.
And it really got me thinking about this concept of social media versus interest media. And like the business that I try to be in, and I think we all need to focus on, is the business of interest media more than social media. But I'd love your thoughts on that because, you know, I think that instead of following people, how do we follow ideas, beliefs, and capabilities that take us forward instead of following people that we just get, oh, look at them, they're having fun. Oh, look at them, they're having fun. Oh, look at them, they're eating spaghetti, blah, 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 blah. So
Yeah.
I'd love maybe we can just riff on that for a few minutes before we bring on our guest.
Yeah. I love that you came up with that turn of phrase because
I did not come up with the phrase. That's Gary Vaynerchuk, a
I
friend of
love it.
mine who, you know,
It's
I follow, and he's like, Jason, the world of social media is dead.
hmm
The world of interest media is where we're at today. And if we're not actually thinking about interest media and the way these algorithms work, like instead of matching people to people, we're matching interests to interests.
I love
And
it.
like just like Chris wrote something beautiful today that Bob just called him out and said, keep posting about your experiments and observations. That's interest media. That's not social media. And I really, really like that.
Hmm. Well, so you asked, we were talking about, I think you said something about me being an open book, and I said, I commented that I have a love-hate relationship with social media, which might surprise people when I say that because you probably do feel like you know me. I am pretty active on some platforms. These days, I think LinkedIn probably gets most of my content compared to anything else. I only post for my mom's sake on Facebook. I like Instagram for following comedians, maybe, but not much else. Like, every platform sort of has its pros and cons. And when I say I have a love-hate relationship with social media, it's because what it could have been, what it maybe was or tried to be at one time, and what it is now. It feels very inauthentic. We see more sponsored ads and promotion than we do the people we want to see. Maybe not enough of us curate our feed to make sure it includes people and brands and things that are interesting to us, and we just let it be what it is, which is kind of a messy algorithm that doesn't never make sense to us. It's changing all the time. And so when I say I have a love-hate relationship with social media, I think sharing our stories with each other is important. I said that on the podcast. There's no great platform for doing it. I don't know if social media can be that in its current state and where it's apparently going. Maybe that's why a bunch of us have turned a little bit more to Substack because it feels a little bit more authentic. It's longer form storytelling. It feels poetic. It feels, I don't know, it feels different. But that's what I mean. I think we do need platforms for stories and people and ideas. What we're sort of forced to work with. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'll put it here. That's
Yeah,
what
well,
I
I
mean
mean,
by
just
that.
what I said to you, and this is really why I wanted to, why I started doing Substacks 2 or 3 months ago, and why I started the podcast, because I really do think that in social media we're scrolling for people,
Yeah.
and I said this to you earlier. In interest media, we're hunting for oxygen,
Yes.
and that's how I feel. I feel like on social media, I'm just scrolling, 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 or people in my life are just scrolling, 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 like right in front of me. And I'm trying to use interest media to look for ideas, for inspiration, and things like that. And that's not saying you can't find that in social media. So it's an
Right.
interesting discussion, but I think it's a different purpose. I think
Yeah.
it's a different purpose. And you talk a lot about intentionality. And I hope that like communities like this, which are not social. I mean, they're social, but they're not designed to be just social. Substacks, podcasts, things like that, like the stuff that Chris wrote, like what Chris Mario wrote earlier today. Those are interest media things, and I hope we can all get into that, and I hope algorithms take us more to that going forward. Now, when I say interest media, that doesn't mean dog videos aren't interest. If
Right.
that's your interest, but the question is how do we build a like-minded community group, et cetera, that need that oxygen? Not, I mean, maybe you need dog videos, that's fine, but
Yeah.
the oxygen around how do we make the world a better place, make work better, et cetera, et cetera. I can't stand the stuff I see on most of those sites about their negative news, even though it's real. And I'm told by many people, don't ignore it because how else are you going to know? But I don't even know what's true or not anymore. Um, so that I'm trying to use that term interest media a bit more.
I like that. Yes, John, you want social media to help you learn new things. Now we have to like discern and distill and make sure it's real and true and authentic, and then try to make sense of it. And with AI, everything AI generated, that challenge becomes even more challenging. Um, that's true, Heather. Not everybody likes to think and learn. I also think ignorance can be bliss. Like sometimes the more you know, I don't know, is it all of course it's a good thing to be knowledgeable and literate, but we can also get overwhelmed and oversaturated trying to make sense of and form an opinion of what feels like a constant barrage and fire hose. That's why, for those of you that take social media cleanses or whatever, or detox or step away, I get it. I totally get it. Just to hit reset once in a while.
Yeah, I just think, I mean, my take around learning, and Heather, I know not everyone likes to think and learn, which by the way, I know is not her. Because I mean, there may be days she doesn't, but knowing Heather, she is a thinker and learner core, at least to me, she seems like that at the core. I I don't think that digital detoxes. I think digital detoxes from social pressures are
Yeah,
not good for you. I think that depending on how you use the tools, I think they can that it's not necessarily a good thing. So,
right.
different discussion for a different day.
Yeah.
So anyway, uh more to come on that. I love what Brian just said. The best inspiration I find on social media comes from a handful of people who really bring great ideas, think strategically. What I can't abide are blatant sales pitches, fake connection requests to sell you something political. The only way to make social media useful
And
and
viable.
viable to purge the trolls.
I do
That's
that
all
all the time, Brian.
we could I think we should come up with a t-shirt a week. And then at the
Oh, I love it.
end of a year, sell all the t-shirts.
Oh
And
my
that
God, I love it.
purge the trolls would be not purge the trolls non-value added people. But purge the trolls, that's the name of this episode, and we'll see what it does to get people to listen to it.
I love it. Choose
So
your,
Jess, we spent a lot of time there before we
yeah.
brought on our guest. We should bring on our guest, and we'll ask our amazing producer, JC, to uh, to bring him on.
Yes. I love it when I get introduced to new people I don't know. Interest media, right? But who I find interesting and what they talk about. Hi, Gooey. Nice to meet you.
Hello, nice to meet you.
And there's
Actually,
a
it's
decent chance, there's backstory to this, Gooey. There's a decent chance you got on this show because the name of your company is Dakota. Jason and I have a long-standing joke about whether I'm from North Dakota or South Dakota, and they're all one and the same to him. And I love what you're all about. And so I'd love you to introduce yourself, by the way, to our
sure,
wonderful community.
sure.
Yeah,
My name's
Gooey, I just have to say, you've got amazing hair. I mean, I
thank
could
you.
have said teeth too, because you have amazing teeth, but you have amazing hair.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's actually I go by it's actually pronounced Gee.
Oh, I'm
Gee,
so
oh my
sorry.
gosh. You know
No,
what
it's
the other
good.
funny thing is? I asked YouTube, how do you say this name? And not knowing from where you hail and etymology and all of that, it said gooey. And I even told Jason, it's gooey. And now you're like, I'm
Yeah,
wrong.
Guy, I got coached because I am bad sometimes. I got coached before the show. She said it's gooey, Gooey, and I was
Well,
like,
that's
okay, cool. I promise I'll do it right.
So,
yeah.
so etymology matters here. What is the origin of the when you say ghee
So
and not the other
so
way?
I'm the fourth. My first name's William and Guillaume in French is William. So the
Oh, I
first two
should have
letters.
gone French. Okay.
You can go Spanish too,
Yeah.
Guillermo. But yeah,
Sorry
it's
about that,
no, it's
Guy.
good. It's all, hey, trust me. I'm 58 years old. You have no idea how many names I've been called.
I'm sure.
So
So
tell
like
us about you,
So I started a company, our company Dakota in 2006, and we raised money
which
for
means you're
investment firms.
ancient. That's almost 20 years ago.
I know it's crazy. It's crazy. And if you want, I can kind of give you the backstory
Yeah,
because
I'd love it.
Please.
I studied you guys. It's amazing what Chat GPT can tell you about people. By the way, both of you have marvelous resumes on Chat, so it's really really strong.
Good.
Um,
It
Fact
must
check.
be
so
Always,
accurate.
always fact check, Guy.
No
Always fact check.
hallucination. Yeah.
So I started the company in '06, but a funny story is that I have three kids, 24, 23, 21, boy, girl, boy. And this Christmas we're all together and they go, Dad, before you started Dakota, like how many jobs did you have? And I was like, I had eight. well, my character, Bill 20, and he goes, go through them. So I went through them. He's like, yeah, that sounds like 11. Can you do it again? Now this is from 89 until 2006 and like W-2, like good jobs. So then I recounted and I got to 13. So when we started Dakota in 2006, I always had this vision that I wanted to be able to create a company where we could have people come in and they could stay for their careers. You could develop them, you could slot them in, you could give them mentorship and the whole thing. And so uh, we are in sales. So my sales is my ethos, right? Sales and marketing. And so we started a firm that would raise capital for investment firms. That's still true today. We have 8 salespeople, travel the country, raise capital. And then we took the database that we built, and that business probably peaked at about 12 people. And then in 2019, we took the database that we built to raise all the money, and we commercialized it. So we turned it into a product, and we'd sell to other people just like us. And so essentially, selling like Mercer's a customer on your investment side. And so we provide a fully curated and up to date database.
Mhm.
Now, that's like the business, right? Which is it's a super cool business. AI, it's grown. We had to hire 70 people. So now we have 90 people at our company. But really at the end of the day, the whole business is about our culture, right? And people. And that really is the defining characteristic. So it's really cool that we have a super cool product and all that. And that's a big part of the culture. But it's always been about creating an amazing place to come to work. And so if I want to leave you with one thought, what is Dakota? We truly have tried to make it I personally try to make it the single greatest place people can come in and become the best version of themselves.
So the notion of that, I have so many questions, like literally flies in the face of what every futurist is predicting about work, which is we're kind of busting up the modern workplace, we're going to be gigging ourselves, we're going to be, the idea, it's sort of an
You're
old,
gonna have 4 jobs at one time. There's no
yeah,
more thing as
totally.
working. Like, Gee, you don't listen to the pot show all the time, but my dad worked for the same company for 48 years. My grandfather worked for that company before for 49 years, so it's 97 years at the same company. And I'm like, holy cow, that's never gonna happen in this world anymore. So, like Jess is saying, it does
Yes.
fly in the face.
But I love that you believe that can exist, and you're proving it. Because I'll continue to go to the mat for the idea that your people are your product. I love that you said like this is the business,
Oh,
like this is how we get revenue, but our culture is our business. People are your
uh,
product.
yeah, I'm writing my third book. I wrote my second book came out in February. It's called The Dakota Way, and it's our 4 core principles of investment sales. The only book I've ever written on how to raise money, believe it or not, but it's just a sales process that we followed since 2011. But I lopped off half the book because it was going to be leadership lessons learned. And trust me, so I'm writing a book called Be Kind. That's the latest book. And I just believe it comes down to the words that come out of your mouth as a leader, right?
Mm,
And so there's way too much permission given by people in the workplace to kind of say whatever they want. They get in a leadership role, they think they can just drop one word, right? One word can literally crush someone, it can paralyze people. So the whole book's about the words that you use and how you treat people. And that's what it's all about. I think that if you create a situation like we do, where you treat people with kindness, not nice, nice is almost unkind. If you treat people kindly, right, they want to come to work. I would say you should. I said in the book, my ghostwriter really made me think about like when you say be kind and treat people, like what do you mean? And I'm like, well, let's say you go to your best friend's house. How do you treat their kids? That's how you should basically interact with people at work, right? Thoughtfulness, kindness. You don't need to be rude. You don't need to make weird jokes or say weird things or comment on their clothes or anything like that. And so I've worked really, really hard. I'm not going to tell you that I'm perfect in any way, shape, or form. So there's lessons learned along the way. But that's what we've really and so but there's a bunch of things that come into this, like your work environment, right? Like how it feels, right? How's it designed? When you're in the office, what's the vibe you give off as the energy, right? And then uh, we've made it where people love to come in the office, right? They don't want to sit in an 800 square foot apartment in downtown Philly. They want to come in the office because why? It's beautiful, right? In terms of what we did, but I think that's really important. I think the classic office, like from Dilbert, cubes and all that. I mean,
Yeah.
no wonder people don't work in it. It's so depressing.
I always say when it comes to designing workforce experience or the workplace itself, act like you're preparing for guests in your home. You're excited to have them. You hope they feel excited to be there. You've thought about their needs and their comforts. Like we're so we've kind of forgotten how to do the niceties of creating vibe
Oh,
and environment and culture.
since day one in our downtown office, which is so cool. It's all reclaimed barn lumber and uh, uh, ambient lighting, so it feels like a hotel lobby. We have an 8 by 8 a kitchen table that's bar height. I mean, it's huge, and so it's soaring ceilings. Everyone sits around and chats and works and does all that. And but by the way, I want to be really clear that we're not sacrificing performance, right? It's a super hard charging culture, but with kindness.
Mm.
We have no vacation policy. Haven't had a vacation policy in 19 years, and don't have a T and E policy. So
Mm.
spend the money however you want to, just be responsible and take the time that you need. And I'm never going to call you when you're on vacation, right? Just take the time you need. We've never had an HR issue on either of those issues. We've never had to, and it's just funny. You treat people like adults and that you trust them. It's
Yeah.
just amazing how much they enjoy being at work, and you also have to have fun. Work's got to be fun, right? I mean, you got to do cool stuff. And we, oh, you guys will love this because you're such HR experts. So we bring in this guy from 90.io, which is like the entrepreneurial operating system guy, and he's the CEO. And he's going through like 6 years ago. He goes, "Hey, what are your core principles?" I'm like, "We don't really have any." Okay, so it's teamwork, trust, all that stuff. It just wasn't sticking. He goes, "Do you guys have any words that you use to describe your business?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, yeah. What was that? Oh yeah, we would call those Dakotisms. We have 13 of them." So we have all these funky Dakotisms that I like literally invented these phrases and stuff like, we grow apples, we sell them to apple buyers. We're going to try to convince orange buyers to buy apples, right? We're not in a convincing business, which is in
Mhm.
sales a good way to take no for an answer. Walk the 8 feet. What does walk the 8 feet mean? Well, typically we don't have a lot of offices. The offices are 8 feet apart. And a lot of times the person in the office next to you has an enormous amount of knowledge of something you want to know. Just walk the 8 feet and talk to them. So that's tap into the collective knowledge of the group. Don't go cowboy, right? Which is you kind of assume what that means, which is don't go on your own. Like if a big opportunity comes up, immediately share it with the group so the group can help you and be a team and share and everything. So it's funny though, those I never really thought if I had to tell my younger self something or somebody starting a company, I'd immediately write down what you stand for as a company. What are your principles? And those are our Dakotas. And then I found that every single decision can come just back to those core principles. And it's so funny. And everyone, throw your hat over the wall is another one. Turn your brain off, right? People can overthink things. So we've
Mm.
come up with all these fun little Dakotas. And then what we did is we have this part in our office, we had to tunnel through on both sides is a 20-foot chalkboard black wall. And our graphic designer did this huge mural of all of our Dakotisms. See, every time you walk through, you see the little Dakotisms. So
I love that.
That's awesome. So, Guy, a question for you. A lot of us are dealing with the fact that companies are having to reset themselves. And you're not a massive company. And it's easy to say we like to have fun, 8 feet apart, et cetera, when we're X number of people. But when you're 30,000 people or when you're 40,000 people, and in the world of where we are with AI, people are starting to say, how do we become an AI first company? Um, you know, I think that your concepts of human and humanity are really important, but I'm curious as to the types of thinking you're doing about AI. And is it going to replace your people? Is your job to make them feel like, hey, don't worry about AI, it's not going to replace you? What's your thought process around automation of people right now?
as you can imagine, we're in the data business, the
Yeah.
database business. So I think about it about every second of every day. I'm definitely the number one. I'm the third oldest person at the company. We have a very young populace. Let's say we have 50 people under 30 downtown, under 32 maybe downtown. And everyone goes, yeah. So who's like down there managing them? I said, there's nobody manages them. It's a science experiment. They just manage themselves. And it works. It works absolutely beautifully. Self-policing. To answer your question about AI, um, it, how do I say this? Well, number one, the biggest beneficiaries of AI, in my little humble opinion, this is not a total absolute. Usually technology favors the young, and the young adopt it, and the young get way ahead of older people. I think the LLMs actually benefit people with deep domain expertise and life experience. Because
Mm,
if the whole game's a prompting game, right, your life experience and domain expertise can know how to ask much more complex and related questions to get the best answers, to get the best responses possible. So I actually think it's not necessarily, it's a replacement. Obviously, if you can do marketing copy in 30 seconds versus, having it taken 4 hours, that's going to save time. I think it's going to require people to think a lot harder.
For
And so
me,
I don't
I
think
always
it's,
talk about. I think I want to make sure. I always talk
yeah,
about what you say as the difference between knowledge and wisdom. The knowledge is the general prompt, but wisdom is that experience and things like that.
yes.
I think that's what you're saying. But is that
100%. Yeah,
okay?
100%. And the biggest challenge for me at a 90-person business as relates to AI is changing the behavior of getting people just to use it, and not because the habits are so ingrained in doing things like, I'll Google it, I'll do this. But it's a it's definitely working. We have a channel in Slack that is, AI prompts. We're sharing prompts all the time. I'm prompting all the time, sending the results to the company, seeing, hey, what's possible. Or so it's getting there. It's getting there. I opted out of sort of ever having a beat down culture, or like mandates, or anything like that. It's like I feel that I feel that people are gonna kind of find their own height, if you will, and I can push a little bit, but I really want it to evolve somewhat naturally. And so what I'm just trying to do is share as much as possible the benefits that I'm getting from it, the results that I'm getting from it, how it's all over our product, right? So there's certain things we can do in the product that are extraordinary using these agents. So that's a real benefit. And what you're seeing is our AI is improving our product. It's improving a bunch of things we do in sales and marketing, and we're winning more business, so everyone's happier, having fun. It's like so it's actually like it's kind of it's making things even better. You know what I mean? And I don't think and I've never told anyone that we're going to replace them, right? In any way, shape, or form, and I don't think it is. I actually think it just forces people to think more and more, be more intellectual.
I love, Guy, a couple of things you've said, including the little aside about younger workers self-policing. Ironically, like my oldest daughter started driving this summer, and ironically, giving her more responsibility made her more responsible. I did not actually think that was going to happen. I thought it would be the opposite, but she actually has a higher sense, I guess, of accountability, or sort of not wanting to prove me right. It's sort of like this weird reverse psychology. And the way you're taught, even just the notion of creating the kind of work environment where people don't have to leave because there's nothing to pursue outside your doors. Like they've got trust, safety, permission, a great culture where they can thrive. They know how to learn and experiment safely. Like all of the things you're describing are the reasons most people leave their employer, because they feel like that stuff isn't getting fulfilled there. Is that how you see it translating, this notion that I want to create the kind of company where people can
Oh
and will
yeah,
stay?
yeah. For this, I want to create such an amazing culture that it's going to be very painful for them to leave. Yeah, and we've never lost anyone that we didn't want to lose, so that's pretty cool. And we have, Tracy's been with us since '07, Dan, our president, '08. I mean, it's like crazy longevity. But it's funny what you just said about your daughter and driving. So my father died in '03, but he was like brutal, like teasing, made fun of, like the whole thing. It's just not getting into that. So I grew up in a environment, divorced, but he's just lethal in terms of just constant, if you did anything, it's just freak out. So I have 3 kids. I decided to do the opposite. I did the exact opposite. So and my wife always accused me of being like their friend, and I wasn't. I mean, I absolutely, if when things mattered, I stepped in, right? But for the most part, I just said I hated that so much, and really, and it's turned out to be where no one had ever had their phone taken away. I never grounded the kids. Just did zero of that. I sort of treated them like an adult, right? And now so far so good. It's worked out. No one's perfect, but we have amazing relationships. They're really cool. They're very responsible. I just, they all played a sport in college, and that's just takes a lot of discipline. It's good prep for life. And I really have created the same thing in the company, right? Who wants to come to work and be demeaned or teased, right? Who wants to be called out publicly or shamed, right? You start to like think about the things. Um, we always have we've La Colombe cold brew. I don't know where you guys live, but insane coffee, right? Have the
Oh,
cold
yeah.
brew. We have a bevy machine, right? It's the craziest machine of all time, right? It makes the drinks and everything. We have snacks everywhere. We always buy lunch on Fridays. I get everyone a membership to this club across the street where they can work out and train. We have a director of health and fitness, so which is
Wow.
really cool. He's my former trainer, so I just brought him on full time for after 20 years of training with him, and he's like exploding his life and career because now he's like part of something. We What else do we have? Oh, we have a concierge doctor. So every I pay half of it. So it's 900 bucks a year. I'll pay half. And so everyone has access. And that's typically like 2,500. So everyone has a concierge doctor. It's actually happened more and more where doctors are like, "Yeah, I'll take on the 90-person company." You know what I mean? So we're just trying to do
Wow.
anything to make the experience of work, fun, enjoyable, but also I would say there's no ceilings at Dakota, right? So I want everybody to be able to grow. So if you have an issue, just come talk to me. Let's figure it out, right? My part of a leader's job is you're constantly removing obstacles and solving problems for people so they can be the best version of themselves.
That is so cool.
So, Guy, one of the things that we hear a lot about the world today is that trust is at its all-time low.
Mm.
Trust in education, trust in government, trust in leadership, things like that. And if you do, Edelman does a great trust barometer. There's some great people that do really good research on trust, and like you're spitting. I mean, excuse my language, but like you're kind of spitting in the face of all of that. It sounds like. So, I mean, if you're giving tips to people about how to build trust, I mean, I'm listening to you. It sounds transparency. You know, Steve Jewell just said trust is assumed or earned. Like, how do you see trust? Because I hate to see these institutions crumble because we're focused on profit or focused on personal profit or things like that, which it doesn't sound like you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a loaded question, but if I had to simplify it, it's really, do you believe the organization has my back? Do you believe
Hmm.
they really care about me? And that's really the question, right? Like, do you care? And as I always said to everyone, I'm going to coach and lead from a place of your best interest. So I might ask you to do something that's hard, but it's always going to be in your best interest. For instance, we have basically an immediate response time. So if a customer has a question, it's like 5 minutes, immediate. Like even on our website, there's a timestamp in terms of reaction time. Why? Because that's in your best interest, right? Because it's respectful to get back to people, right, in a very timely manner. And if you do it better, they're going to be really happy because so many people don't. So I always think of I have their back, and when we have we have difficult conversations, which is kindness, right? Because you do have to sit down with people, right, certain times and say, "Hey, what's going on? Is everything okay?" Because you can maybe get a sense of that. But I was coaching our president yesterday. I said, "Look, when you talk to such and such, just lead with intense, intense compassion." Right, because we're going through a lot. We're going through AI right now. Um, and there's a lot of, we've hired a head of data 6 months ago who has just transformed our database. So now we have so much data. We're like trying to get it out and tell people we have it is actually a good problem to have. We have a problem, but trying to just be very compassionate and what that really, to me, what that really means, you have to be vulnerable. You have to be intensely vulnerable because you really have to balance uh, the difference between um, vulnerable and then, oh, I can't be vulnerable because they're going to take advantage of me. I have to have a T&E policy because I want to know what everybody's spending and they'll take advantage of it. They'll stay in a nice hotel. I'm like, well, they should stay in a nice hotel. You're asking them to travel away from their family. And have you ever seen the chart where it shows the amount of time you spend with your kids, like, and how it goes down? Just like a
Oh,
bunch of
that's, I
boxes.
mean,
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
parent of a 20 and 17
Yeah.
year old, Jess's are a little bit younger, but yes, and when all of a sudden I look at that chart and I'm like, okay, my time has passed. That chart scares me to death.
Yes.
Right. But then who gets that time? Their work gets that time. So people are coming to Dakota to work and not be with their family, right? Or spend the amount of time. And everybody, so we have a 2,500 square foot ESPN studio we built on our third floor. So we do just an enormous amount of video. We have 8 podcasts, we do shows, all the stuff. And everybody gets a personal bio video. And so our videographers, I was never involved in this. They made up the questions, they do it all. And you hear a lot. So our 8:30 all company, we run a personal bio video every single day. So everyone gets to know
I
one
love
another,
that.
right? And then I comment on every single one of them. And and it's really just, I mean, I load them with kind of praise and, hey, this is something you wouldn't know about them because, a lot of people don't, hey, this when when they're here. I always say, I spend a minute or two just giving intense praise just over who they are, what they do, their contributions, like the whole thing. But they talk a lot about teammate. They talk about a lot about family. Now, I don't think work necessarily should be family. It's like I think more of team because there are tough conversations that you have to have, but that's how people see it, right? And that's like kind of the ultimate, right? Because they're really saying, like people really care about me, and if I set the standard of how you treat people, then everyone else has to follow, or else they have to go. And so it becomes like self-policing thing, and everyone, and then all these young kids are talking to other friends at other companies that don't have the same culture. That's where you really know, right? They're like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I could go on forever of just
Well,
like
no,
the
no,
one
I think
line.
this is
Yeah.
it's really important, and I'd love to just push on it for a second because and I could be I'm pushing on something that I don't know where this is going to lead. So just so you know, but I mean, there's a lot of companies that still do stupid once a year engagement surveys. Like, are you engaged? Sorry, I shouldn't say stupid. I didn't mean to say that for those of you that do it. But I'm like, I want to know more often than once a year whether you're engaged. Or, hey, once a year, let's do a performance review. Like, so if you think about the culture, oftentimes I see those things as they're policies, but I think they hurt the culture more than they help the culture. I'd love to hear. I mean, in your company, how does stuff like that work?
Yeah, there should be a law against 360-degree reviews and annual reviews. It's so we did it one time. It was the worst experience I've ever had in business. And people were crying. Or it was like 10, 12 years ago. Um, I don't know how you can review someone on an annual basis. Because basically, aren't shouldn't you be like communicating with them weekly, everybody? Like, and it's like, why would you wait for a year and then people are all stressed out? It's like, it's never like a
Especially if
lot of
they're
times.
underperforming. Like, shame on everybody if they're underperforming and you haven't been coaching them early. Like, that's crazy to me. And if they're overperforming, like, same thing. Like, you're not maximizing your talent if you're not even having talent conversations and just once a year.
Yeah, we've had. I acknowledge different people like so often. It's kind of crazy, and maybe I'm doing this, but if you give people praise, right, you're not doing it right. You're just simply acknowledging really what good looks like. Because I think as a leader, it is really important what good looks like, and that's where the kindness part comes down, right? So if I do have to make a comment, right, or I'm like, hey, not so much a disagreeable comment, but like we need to know what good looks like, and I never do it in an insulting way ever like that. But you're always defining what good looks like. So we can't have anybody like you were just saying if they go through a period of like soft performance or we're kind of seeing it or the response time or whatever, we immediately sit down but instead of like condemning them or being somewhat mean, you're like, hey, how's it going? Like, everything okay? Tell me, the whole thing. And because people go in and out of, they're human beings, right? And so having compassion for that is really important, but not waiting, like you're saying, like wait for a year, and then you want everyone to give all these comments. Like the guy, I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't want to name names, but there's a very, very famous hedge fund in Connecticut that everyone knows about. And the guy wrote a book. I read the first page and I put it down. I said, this makes me sick. And it's turning out where it's like they're starting to peel back the onion, because he'd like film everything, and then he'd film you in a conference room. They'd sit down and he'd criticize everything you did, and he had this like incredible like judgmental thing. I mean, it's like makes me cringe, right? Because
Wow.
because right, because part of the like coming to work is that people do want to be the best versions of themselves, right? They want to be challenged. They want to be mentored. They want to be led. They want to have clear expectations, and it doesn't have to be working 8 hours a day. I mean, I laugh when I come down to the downtown office and we have 8 chairs around a table, and you sit down and we all sit down and they're on their computers working. I mean, I can't tell you when I have like some friends come in, they're like, dude, they're kind of like it's like surfing the internet. You have the golf tournament on. I'm like, Yeah. So thank you. Is it- what's the big
Yeah,
deal? Right. Right. We're
real
having fun.
people doing real things, and
Yeah.
the business is still
And
performing.
Guy, really quickly, I wanted to just throw up this screen because as I was doing research for today, I've noticed that you guys do a lot of work in giving back to education. And when I was on the site, I saw, career exploration days, squash smarts, revolution school. Jess and I are big believers that corporations have to do more to help educate kids into the future. Maybe you can just talk about that real quickly because I think
Yeah,
it's so
sure.
important.
Yeah. So in 2000, Jan of 21, by the way, in 2011, the seminal moment I think of my life, I just woke up one day and I felt intensely empty. It was 5 years into the company. We were successful, we were making money, and it just didn't feel good. And so I wrote down, I said, you know what? I'm going to make it my mission to help other people get what they want out of life.
Mm,
I just made it about everyone else. And it actually felt great because to serve and help other people is way more fun than, inward. But back to Jan of 21, my sister-in-law, who is 12 years older than my wife, was in a not-for-profit situation, and she was 13 years, and it was kind of a toxic environment. So I was like, Barb, would you ever want to come to Dakota and let's do a community outreach program? She's like, I'd love to. I said, okay. I do have a few requirements. I said, number one, it has to be local. So number two, it has to be micro. And number three, we have to be able to have impact. So
mm,
I want to be able to go to these places and have our team educate, train, help with their CRM, help with their website, pack bags for them, whatever it might be. So, and here's the jaw dropper, right? This is classic. We've always had huge internship programs. So I think we're 32 this year. Now we do it on our third floor. And so last year was the like 12th or 15th year we did it, whatever, started in 2011. But we made it a business school class because internships, if you don't do them right, can be very taxing on people, right? So we literally structured it by the hour. And our marketing team who did it, it was like unbelievable. 5 weeks, literally we had it down to the hour they did. So they do a survey at the end, right? I mean, it's a business school class. People are coming to me, "Gee, this is amazing. I've learned more in this in my business school classes. It's like insane. Thank you." All that. But we do the survey, right? And we get all these great remarks, right? It was amazing, learn more than this. One day, one day they went, so we call it Dakota Gives, is our brand for our community outreach. Dakota Gives. The whole internship class went to one of our charities and was with them kind of for 5 hours, doing all the stuff for them. So what is last question? What was your favorite part of the internship? Everybody, the Dakota Gives Day. It's
oh my gosh.
I mean, so what is that? So I'd unpack that. I'm like, well, what is that? Like, what is going on? And I think what it is, to kind of what you guys are saying, is that people love to give back and
Yes,
serve, and they just
yes.
don't have a lot of opportunities to do that. It's only my only takeaway. So when they were given one and they were able to help other people, it gave them such gratitude. Despite like this amazing internship, they actually said the volunteer day, which really wasn't part of the business part of it. So that taught me all I need to know. And so Barb, we're always going out all the time when we have Dakota Gives shirts, and Dakota Gives has a heart, GIV, whatever the V is the heart. So it's
Yeah.
really cool. And I just wanted to be able to have impact so we could give back. And it's worked out great. And it really brings the company together, which I didn't do it for that reason. I just wanted to give back. I didn't know the
Mhm.
impact it would have on the team and how much they like it
Great
and they
story.
respect Dakota for it. Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, Guy, I'm so glad that your team found us. I wanted you for a reason, and you just proved that in like spades. We spend a lot of time talking with talent people and HR people and tech providers, and all we hear, a lot of what we hear is all the reasons we can't do all this. There's too many challenges, too many barriers. We're stuck in our old ways. We make up all these excuses for not doing things better or differently. And it was refreshing to hear from you that you can, actually. You can, and barriers are just barriers. You can remove them. Congrats on an amazing company and workforce and
Thanks.
culture. This was a lot of fun. Thank you for
Yeah, and
being.
Guy, I don't know how many times you're called an amazing man, but you were just called an amazing man in the chat. So at least take that away into the weekend for sure, right?
No,
Yeah,
you
for
guys are
sure.
great. And It's absolutely possible. It just really takes, I believe, because I'm writing the book on it, so it's really made Gail, our ghostwriter, really made me think hard on this. It really it just takes a lot of introspection. Like all this stuff is possible, but
Yeah.
why wouldn't you want to create an environment where people love to come to work, right?
Yeah.
It sounds so simple, right? Sounds so simple.
Oh, I love
I
it.
know.
Gee, happy
Okay,
Friday. Have an amazing
thanks.
weekend. And
You
thank
Thank
guys are
you
the
you for
best.
guys.
Same to you.
Take care.
Thank you. See you.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
that. Thanks. Bye.